Moving on, Steve in New Mexico. It came out that if Congress does not pass a federal NIL bill, that the SEC would take matters into its own hands by aligning its state laws so the conference can oversee and police NIL. Is this only delaying employment of football players?
Well, it just depends on what you want. There's two trains of thought when it comes to employment. One, if you start to employ football players, what happens to all the other sports? So a lot of people are against it just because of that reason. If you're taking more money from the athletic department, there won't be enough to fund other sports. So as a result, you'll see a lot of doors shut. And all those sports that were at one point underneath the athletic department window, they would go and become club sports. And that's not, in my opinion, a good long-term solution. I think employment, though, could level the playing field. If the ultimate goal is creating parity, and you have employment and then essentially collective bargaining and there's transparency about what guys are making, then it would probably be a whole lot more difficult to tamper. It'd probably be a whole lot more difficult to go out and just pay players and handle things like this. And it would at least be a little bit more regulated if the players were employees. So part of me aligns with, hey, just make them employees. Let's cut to the chase. But at the same time, man, I don't want to see all the different sports that are benefited from football. I don't want to see them go away, and I don't want to see opportunities lost for kids that are playing under scholarship right now and having those scholarships taken away because that sport is no longer supported by the athletic department. So I don't necessarily love the idea of getting into the employee world. I'd rather just keep it in the NIL, keep it the wild, wild west. But then again, it doesn't necessarily create a level playing field. So here's the problem also with aligning all the state laws. You really think those 13, 12 governors are going to be up for that? I mean, if Missouri's governor, they have one school in their state, if the Missouri's governor can benefit Missouri by creating, I guess, favorable NIL laws, guess what? The likelihood of the politicians in Missouri getting reelected improves, and they only give their football team an opportunity to be more successful and maybe generate a little bit more buzz because they can, I guess, create more opportunity with NIL associated with the University of Missouri. So I don't see it happening. I think it'd make a lot of sense if you want to create a level playing field, but I don't get the sense that anyone's really in favor of that. And I think state to state, those states, like all conferences, are basically worried about their own best interests. They're not so worried about what's going on in Tennessee if you're Alabama, or in Mississippi if you're in Louisiana, or Texas if you're in Florida. So I don't see it happening, but I think that would be one step towards putting some guardrails on a system that is a little chaotic right now.